What's going on YouTube? So as you probably assume by the number of them out on the road, the CX-5 has long been Mazda's best-selling model. But earlier this year, Mazda came out with the all-new CX-50, which is similar in many ways except a bit more rugged. So is the more affordable CX-5 still a good bet? Let's go ahead and answer that question and also see if anything's new for 2023. So like always, I want to start off this review by taking a look at our exterior design. Now of course, this generation of the CX-5 has actually been around for quite a while at this point, but Mazda has really done a lot to keep this fresh, and it's still a very handsome design, especially since Mazda made some changes last year with a bit of a refresh, especially here in the front. So taking a look at our grille, you've got the newest version of the Mazda wing grille. So you've got that chrome trim that comes through here and goes up underneath of your headlights. You also got a new interior texture last year with a 3D design and a nice gloss black finish. Now another new element we got last year was our LED headlights. So every single version of the CX-5 will come with very premium LED headlights. It's got that new double swoop signature that goes through there, and every element in here is LED, including our LED turn signal. Now additionally, if you choose the premium trim or above, you will get adaptive abilities to the headlights themselves, but do be aware that compared to prior to 2022, you don't have any LED fog lamps on any of the models. Now another thing that was updated last year and does continue for the 2023 model year were some new wheel designs. So you have a 17-inch alloy on your S through your preferred trim level. However, everything else will come with 19-inch alloy wheels. Now, of course, we've got the fully loaded signature model. That does have an exclusive design. So we've got this bright silver finish with the multi-spoke. I really like the way this looks. It gives it a very premium design, and especially looks nice with our model's full jet black paint, which has a lot of nice pearl in it and has that typical nice Mazda, they're very good at doing paint. So speaking of paint, we have a new color option for 2023 that's going to be called Rhodium White if you want to go for a totally opposite color scheme of this example. Now as we come back here to our mirrors, you're going to have standard blind spot monitoring on every single version. If you go to the premium trim or above, that's going to get you heating in the mirror, and if you want power folding, you have to choose a premium plus trim level and above.
All right guys, so let's go ahead and discuss a few things about the side of the Mazda CX-5. The first thing I want to mention is just the overall length, because as you can kind of just tell visually, this actually is not a massive vehicle. It's coming in at 179.1 inches in overall length, which if you're comparing it to even within its own Mazda lineup, the Mazda CX-50 is going to be about 5 inches larger than this. And most in the segment are coming in several inches longer than the CX-5. Now, as far as a few of the design elements for the signature, one of the big things that you're going to notice is that we have body color wheel archings. Now, it is a little bit harder to see on this black model, but all of this is going to be a nice body color, so if you go for a white one, it's going to have that nice premium look. We also have some chrome window surrounds as well for the bottom. And then working our way around to the rear design of the CX-5, of course it was refreshed just last year, so we're not going to see any changes for 2023. That said, this is still a gorgeous design. I've always loved the way the CX-5 has looked. So up here, I'll start out by talking about the wiper. That's going to be exposed right here. We have our Mazda branding. And then the taillights are going to be my favorite element about the rear of the CX-5 because it is a very premium design. So if you go for the premium trim level or above, you get the LED finishings here. So you have the LED brake light, LED turn signal, LED reverse light. Very premium look. It would embarrass a lot of luxury cars, honestly, guys. We have signature branding right here. If we drop down to the very lower area, you will notice that we do have a little bit of matte black finishings down here. Most of it's going to be body color though. And you're going to have dual exposed exhaust outlets on every single CX-5. Since we do have the turbo, we have the larger diameter exposed exhaust outlets, and they're all going to have a 2,000 pound tow rating. Now, Mazda makes it very easy on me when it comes to safety systems because they are including every single one of them as standard equipment. So even the base model will have forward emergency braking with pedestrian detection, lane keeping assist, auto high beam headlamps, as well as adaptive cruise control. Now, if you do opt for the signature model like what we have today, that will further add in a few more features, including rear auto braking, as well as a traffic jam assist function. Now, for your warranty information, Mazda Signature warranty applies here, so we're looking at 3-year, 36,000 mile basic, 5-year, 60,000 mile powertrain, no complimentary maintenance. Well guys, that's going to wrap up the exterior design of this CX-5. I've always loved the way this vehicle looks, and now let's go ahead and check out the very luxurious interior that the Signature adds.
So heading up here to our Mazda CX-5 Signature Edition, you don't have to go up this high to get the Smart Entry system. This is going to be included on all but the base model. And to get inside, just press the black button to unlock, and the mirrors will fold out. Now let's go ahead and talk about our interior material and color selections right off the bat here. They do remain the same for 2023, and you've got a lot of them. So the base S model comes with cloth seating. The Select comes with leatherette. Starting at the preferred trim level, that's where you'll get real leather. And then when you get all the way up here to the fully loaded Signature model, this is where you get fine Nappa leather. This is a beautiful leather seat. I love the way this feels. Very premium, very upscale, nice perforation, nice stitching details throughout, and extremely comfortable. We also have an exclusive color here with the Signature. This is called Catora Brown, and it is the only color choice for the Signature trim level. And when you choose this model, you do also get the genuine layered wood trim throughout the cabin. Now, before we move on to taking a look at the door trim, let's talk about the seats. These are going to be 8-way power adjusting with 2-way lumbar support starting on the preferred model. We do also have 2-person memory seating as well. And then, like I was saying, we have a nicely finished armrest area and door trim. Full leather through here, full leather through here, and even some leatherette up here on the top with the double stitching detail. As we move to our upper dash, this is all going to be finished in a soft touch plastic for this upper part, and as we go down, we do have more leatherette with stitching details, more of that wood through here, more leatherette through here. Very premium materials on board, as you expect from the CX-5, and you have the leather padding along the console with some piano black accents. And everything does fit together extremely solid. Now to start it up, put your foot on the brake and press the standard push button start. And once she gets fired up, you are going to find the 7-inch digital gauge cluster on the premium trim level and above. That's going to be this middle section here where you see the speedometer that is reconfigurable to a few different designs that you can pick between using the info button on the steering wheel. And in addition to that, on the Premium Plus and the Signature trim level, you are going to get the head-up display. And one of the things I really like about Mazda head-up displays is the fact that they include the blind spot information up there in the HUD. Now pulling back to the steering wheel, every single version of the CX-5 is going to come with a leather-wrapped steering wheel. However, here on the Signature we have the nicer grade of leather, and we also have a unique double stitching detail that runs throughout the steering wheel. It is going to be manual tilt and telescoping across the range, and of course it is going to be heated here on this top end model. But let's go ahead and take a look next at our interior storage. So as we turn over here to our center console, you're going to find this little tray which you can toss off to the side. That's what the main console looks like. It's pretty deep. It's not humongous, but plenty of space to fit most things, including our coupons. Now don't crucify me, I don't have them with me today, I forgot them. But rest assured, we have tested this out plenty of times in the past, and they do fit just fine. You do also have 2 big and deep cup holders, and then you've also got a large front storage area, nice rubber lining, And as you can tell, we do have the wireless phone charging pad right there and a 12-volt outlet. As we pull back here to the shifter, you got the nice traditional style shifter. Pull back for drive, bump over here to the left if you want to shift manually. And with your turbo equipped models, you do also have paddle shifters on the steering wheel. And then as we head into reverse, you'll find another nice premium feature that is included with the signature trim level. That's going to be this 360-degree camera system. As you can see, you do have your traditional view, active trajectory, front and rear parking sensors, then you've got your 360 view, and you can also cycle between several other angles as well. And then back behind the shifter, you've got your drive mode controller, and you also have your electronic parking brake and brake hold. And going back to that drive mode controller, I do want to remind you that last year you did get the additional off-road mode for the first time. Now coming back down here to the console, you got your control knob for the infotainment system. We also have our volume knob for the various audio systems. So you have 4 and 6 speaker options, but once you get to the premium trim level, that's where you get upgraded to the 10 speaker Bose Centerpoint sound system. That's what we have, and we'll give it a sample right now. Yeah, so overall sound quality remains really good, especially if you have a bass-heavy song like what our sound sample just was. It really handles that nicely. Alright, let's continue up the dashboard to our climate controls. If you choose anything but the base model, that's where you're going to get this dual zone automatic climate control setup. Nice and simple to use, of course, as you can see, just some physical knobs and controls, so nothing distracting or anything like that. Additionally, all but the base model is going to come with the 3-stage heated seats. Now, if you want seat ventilation, though, that's going to require you go up to the Premium Plus or the Signature trim level. And let's come up here now to our infotainment system. So this does remain the same for 2023. It's going to be a 10.25 inch display running the latest version of the Mazda infotainment system. Now, a couple things I do want to point out about this display. Even though it does have Android Auto and Apple CarPlay abilities, they're not wireless like they are in the CX-50, and you also cannot touch the screen to use them. This is exclusively going to be controlled with that control knob I showed you earlier. Finally, if you choose the Signature trim level, this is what your built-in navigation system looks like. Now as we rise above to our mirror, as you can see, we do have an auto-dimming mirror with HomeLink Universal Remote, and you also have the special frameless design here with the Signature trim level. Got your sunglass holder, LED lighting, and here is our power sunroof. This is included on the preferred trim level, and above you do have a wind buffer as well. But of course, if you want a panoramic sunroof, you are going to have to get the CX-50 instead of the CX-5.
Well guys, this segment of vehicle is all about room for your family, and also if you get a top-end trim level like the Signature Mazda CX-5, you want it to have a lot of luxury amenities as well. So let's go ahead and talk about the space first, and then we'll hop into those amenities. So as far as the legroom is concerned, we're looking at 39.6 inches of legroom, 39 inches of headroom, which does place us actually on the upper end of the segment. It's going to be more than the Toyota RAV4. It is going to be less than that all-new Honda CR-V. The Honda CR-V is pretty much impossible to beat in terms of space, but as you can see, I'm 5'9". The seat is adjusted to Drew, who's 5'8", and we do have, I'd say, a few inches of spare legroom. So you're definitely going to notice it's a little bit smaller than some of those main rivals like CR-V for sure. Now, as far as some of the luxury amenities, though, that Mazda is throwing in, you get a lot. So up top, we do have some LED illumination. It gives a nice premium touch. If we drop down here at the bottom, we do have vents as included. We do also have chrome trimming around them, which gives it more premium vibe. But you're like, Mason, where are the USB ports? Where are the heated seats? We do have those. So if you fold down the center armrest, that will show 2 cup holders inside, and you're also going to notice that we have 3-stage heated rear seats. That's going to be included on a Premium Plus trim level basis and up. So, of course, our Signature does have it. Then if we pop this open, we do have a little bit of storage room. We could maybe fit a few coupons or maybe a few dollar bills. That looks more like the size that would fit. And we do also have 2 charging USB ports included in here, which I honestly kind of like. I think that's a nice touch to have them in the center console so the cord doesn't have to stretch as far. Then, as far as other features, let's check out your door trim. We do have a nice soft touch plastic up here on the top. We do have stitching details going through it, some real wood trim. If we drop below, we have a padded armrest, and we do also have a pretty large bottle storage down in the very bottom. Now, walking up to our tailgate for the CX-5, a Power One is going to be included as standard equipment if you go for a preferred trim level or above. I do want to note, no hands-free function has been added to the CX-5. I was hoping they would add that for the refresh. It has not been added, so no hands-free abilities. Now, excuse me. Now, as far as the cargo capacity is concerned, in the CX-5, we're going to be looking at 30.9 cubic feet of capacity behind the second row seats. If you fold those seats down, you're looking at 59.6 cubic feet of cargo capacity as a maximum. Now, if you're familiar with the segment of vehicle, you will know that that's actually going to be quite a bit less than Toyota RAV4, Honda CR-V. So if those are vehicles you're cross-shopping this with, you're looking at about 15 cubic feet less cargo capacity, which is something worth noting. Now, if you're looking for a CX-50, for instance, that's going to be about the same space as a CX-50. Now, as far as some of the features that Mazda is throwing in, I am very, very pleasantly surprised to see that we do have 40-20-40 split folding rear seats. That does add that extra usability of having 4 seats as well as something long going through the middle, so that's a nice touch. Most of the segment do not include that. The rear seats do also recline a few inches. I didn't mention that in the rear seat area. And then as far as the finishings, we do have cargo or a spare tire up underneath of the cargo floor. We have a 12-volt outlet here, and I'll just go ahead and show you what it's like to fold the seats down, since we do have handles in the rear of the CX-5, which is actually kind of rare for the segment. Most of them will make you go to the second row to fold the seats down. Now, for your passenger seat, you do have a power adjusting one for this Signature model, as you would expect. And we do also have those nice chrome buttons here on the passenger side, which is a really nice touch. No lumbar support, though. Then if we open up the glove box, since we do have those top-end models, we do have the nice chrome handle here as well to add a nice premium touch. It's also going to be a nice felt-lined glove box, as well as LED illumination inside. I'm sure Drew briefed you. We don't have our coupons with us today. Unfortunately, we did forget them, but they would definitely fit in there perfectly fine, so sorry about that. Now, up top, we do have a sun visor. We have LED illumination, a nice mirror. We can also detach the visor out, and we have an extension in the end.
Nice wall of torque really propels you up to speed. So as you can probably tell by how quickly we accelerated there, we've got the 2.5 liter turbocharged 4-cylinder engine. Mazda uses this engine in a lot of products, and it makes a lot of power. 256 horsepower and 320 pound-feet of torque. Really good numbers for this type of vehicle. As we've discussed in the past, really no one much does an upgraded engine option in this segment anymore. They maybe have a hybrid available or something like that, but they don't offer something with this much power. So that's kind of one of the things that makes this a more premium alternative to, your more run-of-the-mill options, is having all that power and all that torque.
Yeah. Now, if you're curious as to how you get that upgraded turbo motor, it's going to be on the turbo trim level, so that might clue you in to what engine you have under the hood, and also the Signature. So those are going to be standard on those trim levels. Now, as far as the other motor, the standard one, that's going to be included on Sport through Premium Plus trim levels. That's going to be a 2.5 liter non-turbo 4-cylinder, so just a naturally aspirated 4-cylinder, 187 horsepower, 186 pound-feet of torque. So that motor is pretty much in line with what the competition gives you, except, like Drew already mentioned, the competition really doesn't give you a turbocharged option most of the time. So you can get that highest end model and you're still going to have that base motor.
Right. Mazda really, they have their sights kind of on an alternative to a luxury vehicle with this signature trim level, especially because it is, positioned as such a premium offering.
Alright, now that we're sitting at around 55 miles per hour, let's go ahead and get our sound level reading. I'm sitting at, switch on me last second, 55 decibels even for our sound level reading. Really, really excellent sound level. Really, I want to just go ahead and discuss the overall ride quality as well, because the CX-5 does a fantastic job of just having phenomenal ride quality. It soaks up the bumps really well, and as we've said in really most of our Mazda reviews, something about Mazda just really has a very solid feel. You hit a bump, it doesn't have like any obviously there's no rattles or anything, but it just has a very cohesive and solid one-piece feel that is common in like German luxury vehicles, and you really don't get that in anything else in the segment. So I think those are some of the things that you'll notice, is it does have really good ride quality, but it's a very solid feeling and also very quiet inside the cabin.
As far as the transmission is concerned, just like in years past, we do continue to have a 6-speed automatic transmission. And like I've said in past reviews as well, yes, 6 is less than 8 or 10, as you may know. But it's a very smooth transmission. And I think that really ultimately is the biggest thing, because, most of the time, it's not really something that you're going to notice. It is pretty responsive, and it's nice and smooth, versus some of the other transmissions maybe have a bunch of speeds, but they get a little confused at times. So I definitely don't mind this transmission at all.
Yeah. Now, as far as your drivetrain, we actually do have a really nice feature. So all-wheel drive is going to be standard equipment on every single Mazda CX-5. So that was an addition that they made last year for 2022. So that's a really cool feature. Most of the segment do not give you all-wheel drive as standard equipment. This and like the Subaru Forester are pretty much the only ones that are going to throw that in as standard. So that's a really nice touch. That does also mean that you only have 2 fuel economies. So we're looking at 24, 30, 26 combined for the non-turbo model. If you go for the turbo, it's only reduced down to 24 miles a gallon combined. So not too much of a penalty for picking that turbo model, besides for the price of getting into one of those trim levels. And it is worth noting, in order to get that maximum power output for the turbo, you do need to use premium fuel. However, if you don't really need that maximum power output, you can still use regular fuel if you just want to save some money. Alrighty, and let's go ahead and kick off our Slam Dunk and Airball for today. So for our Slam Dunk, I think you probably already know what it's going to be. It's the Signature CX-5, and this is already one of the most luxurious cars in the entire segment. And then when you go for the fully loaded Signature model, it just adds those extra bougie touches that you really just don't expect to see in this segment. I mean, Napa leather seats, like, come on. It's just so nice in here. It feels like a legitimate luxury car.
Right, and in a few ways, it's actually even a little nicer than the all-new CX-50. There's a few little details in here. Yeah. Plus, that model is not available in a Signature trim level right now. Now, in terms of the Airball, I'm going to basically say the thing that I see as the most frequent comment by you guys on past CX-5 reviews, and that is the space. The space is down a little bit from those main competitors, so you do have a list of advantages here with the CX-5, but if the biggest thing that you're looking for is space, then the competition is going to outdo it.
And lastly here, I do want to mention the pricing information for 2023. So we're going to start at $26,700 this model year. Do keep in mind, we do have standard all-wheel drive, as I mentioned earlier, so that's a good starting point. There are a lot of different trim levels that you can select. it ends in the Turbo Signature, which is what we have today, $39,650. Now this one, when we add in the destination charge as well as a handful of options, we're looking at $41,165. So a good price point for this CX-5 Signature. It does actually come in about $2,000 or so less than a fully loaded CX-50, so that's something worth considering.
And of course, we can't let this review go by without talking about one of the consistent best things about a Mazda, and that's the feel behind the wheel. Of course, in this category of vehicle, super sporty performance is not the number one thing people are looking for, but it's really just a great bonus that I like to have here on the Mazdas, because you can go around corners like that and you just have such a nice, tight, balanced feel. Mazda really sweats the details when it comes to driving dynamics and handling, and they make sure that even vehicles that aren't focused on that still have great handling, and especially the steering as well. It's just so fast. It has a nice heft to it. It really surprises you when you get behind the wheel every time that a vehicle in this class can actually be fun to drive. But overall, I'll keep this conclusion very simple. The CX-5 continues to remain a strong choice in this segment.
Well guys, thanks so much for joining us on this in-depth review of the 2023 Mazda CX-5 Signature. If you enjoyed watching this video or found it helpful in your purchasing decisions, we would truly appreciate it if you hit that subscribe button down below. It really helps us out. It helps give us better opportunities to show you all cooler cars. So please go ahead and do that. Also follow us on TikTok and Instagram, where we have other forms of content. We also have a merch store, so if you're interested in repping any of the Car Confections merch and supporting the channel that way, you can find a link to that on our channel. And we'll catch you next time as we sample more of the latest automotive delicacies.